I can't imagine how many couples feel, the same way. Because that's the truth. Like, you marry to someone completely different than you, with a different family, different background, different beliefs. I really believe when you go to marry someone, you need to be sure, like, who you are and who you want to share your life, or at least have an idea. Because I feel like sometimes people go and just, oh yeah, I love you, but why? I really like you when you are mad. I really like you when you are lost. I really like you, like. So I feel like for me, that was a game change. To way to heal, to get it about myself, how I feel, what I want from a couple, and then to meet him, I was like, oh, this is what I want, and I know that is what I want because I write it, because I was working on myself all these years. So now I'm ready to share my life with someone else.
Hello and welcome to Married and Magnetic, the place for entrepreneurial couples who want to stay happily married.
In each episode, we have real conversations with ordinary couples doing extraordinary things, sharing achievements, everyday joys, challenges, and the mindset and tools that make love the greatest strategic edge.
We are James
and Angela Mitchell,
a real-life married couple. She's a counselor,
and he's a coach,
parents to 3 kids,
and co-founders of Love Intentionally. We've ridden the highs
and lows
of building businesses while working hard to stay happily married. We've lived it, done the work,
got the t-shirt,
and are here to help you do the same.
This is Married and Magnetic, where love, business, and growth collide. Let's dive in, y'all. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Married and Magnetic, one that we are super excited about today with Aide Londoño and David Klock. Aide was born on the northern coast of Colombia, and she is an Afro-Latina woman married to a white American man who has turned a story of hardship into one of leadership, resilience, and purpose. After a decade of commanding both military and civilian teams in the Colombian Air Force and managing state contracting projects, she developed a strong foundation in strategic leadership, emotional intelligence, and team development. After overcoming personal and professional loss, Aide rebuilt her life in the United States, where she founded a new business that reached over $100,000 in its first year. Today, as a wellness and wealth concierge, she empowers women to overcome fear, find balance, and pursue their most authentic ambitions. While David is a financial advisor, he is a Coloradoan through and through. Raised in Fort Collins, he spent his first decade plus of his professional life as an educator. He has taught both music and Spanish at all levels, from kindergarten through high school, from Washington, D.C. to Denver, Malaysia to Seattle. After changing careers, his drive to use his teaching ability led him to sustainable investing, guiding clients through decisions about where to invest, how to support what is important to them, and how to simultaneously secure their own financial futures is what motivates him day in and day out. Together, they have been together for 5 years. They met in Seattle, spent the next few years in Colombia, where their daughter was born, and now live and work in Denver. Welcome to the show, Aide and David.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you and talk about so many things.
Very rich stories. We're so excited.
Yeah, I feel like you've had yeah, I feel like there are probably lots of stories to tell. So we'll just see which ones are lucky enough to come out today. But balancing entrepreneurship and work and parenting and immigration and a cross-cultural marriage and all of the things that you all are juggling, I'm sure. So I'm excited to dive in. All right. So first, this is personally curious. This isn't even on our list of questions we normally ask, but I am curious. It said you met in Seattle. What brought the two of you together? And, just tell us a little bit of the beginnings of your love story.
Yeah. So you can go.
Yeah, we were both living there in 2021. Right, it was right before vaccinations came out. So it's relevant because one of our first dates was to this park where I was going to get vaccinated, and we had been out 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I literally called Aide and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to a park to get vaccinated. You want to come with me?" It was just a bizarre time.
So romantic. Yeah.
So romantic.
Nothing about our story is typical or normal trajectory.
Yeah.
But we met and went out on a handful of dates, and you read people really well, and you noticed 4 or 5 dates in were really good. And I was about to move back to Denver months down the road. I was finishing up the school year out there teaching. And after that, I was going to move back to Denver. And you kept telling me, well, this should be our last date because we're good together. And I don't want to start something if it's just going to end when you leave anyways. And I halfway jokingly tell people, I always said, well, that's respectable. I'm going to call you again tomorrow and make you tell me that again. And I would just ask her out to dinner again or whatever, or another park for whatever random thing it was.
Yeah.
She never said no to the next day.
And here we are.
That's kind of how it started.
Do you still go to his vaccinations with him? No.
Yeah, like it was just so crazy. I remember he told me one day, like, hey, do you want to be exclusive? And I was like, what is that? Exclusive? And he would explain to me. I was like, no, if you want to date me, you have to take me to a date. You had to bring me flowers. And you had to ask me, do you want to be my girlfriend? And he was like, girlfriend? That's like married. No, we don't do that in the United States. And I was like, that's what we do in Colombia. So he bought me a plant. He bought me a plant and he took me to dinner. But since the beginning, it was like different,
Yeah.
obviously different cultures. So that's why it has been pretty excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, thank you for that.
So she gave you the playbook pretty early in the game on how to date her, it sounds like.
She's a direct communicator. Yeah. But it was funny because we were speaking in Spanish and the word that she used for girlfriend, I wasn't sure what all that involved. So I was like, this is the first time I'm going to ask you, define that word for me, please, before I answer your question.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? That's happened a handful of times over the years. But yes. Yeah, she gave me the playbook.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And in relationships, we find that even, men to women speak a little bit different language, and we have maybe a different understanding as to what the words mean. It also sounds like you have an extra layer of that being, one, different first languages, as well as being multicultural in your relationship. How has that shown up for you, and how does that show up still?
I think a lot. Even like for me, yeah, definitely to be a Latina woman, we are always trying to take care. We always trying to show the love, taking care of the other one. And here, David say people is more like, oh, I'm going to give you independence. So sometimes we feel like, oh, this is too much. But for him, it could be like too much. And for me, it could be like, you're not showing me that you love me, or you are not, we can see it every day. The thing is when you know your partner. So if he says something and I can think like, oh, he's trying to say this or that. I know him so well, but I know sure that whatever he say is with good intention and he's trying to do the best that he can. He's trying to express the best that he can. Maybe for me, that's not the best way, but just because that was the way that I was raised. And if you put like my Afro background, it's harder because we have that present in our life a lot. Like sometimes he say like, as a white man, I can say that. As a white man, you can just say it. It's normal. We're talking about, I don't know, like the color of my skin, my baby's skin. I said like, she's so white and, and I'm dark and I'm talking about my family and this. And he's like, and I can say, what do you think? He say like, no, nothing. I can't say nothing because I'm a white man. I'm like, no, you're my husband, so you're right to tell me what do you think about this or that. So yeah, that's show ups every single time.
Yeah, I love what you said, though. It sounds like you assume positive intentions, right?
Yes.
So, and I feel like, the story in my head is for you all, that has to be kind of at the base because there's going to be every couple has miscommunications, right? And then you throw the cultural and the linguistic layers on top, right? It's like, define what I know that word, how it translates from Spanish to English, but what does it really mean, right? Like, and so there has to be this base level, like I'm going to assume the other person has positive intentions, right? And then we can figure out where they're coming from culturally or what the language miscommunication may have been if we come with that basic assumption. And what a good lesson for all couples, right? Like I feel like even with us who are both white, native, English speakers, that if we just went into all of our conversations assuming positive intentions, it would go better.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Well, even outside of marriages, you, Aide, do that with just about every human in your life. You just assume the best until they prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your relationship to someone is, you're going to assume the best intent possible.
Because you have
And
two
when it comes to
options.
that.
You can assume the best or the bad. So I'm gonna choose the best. And if something happened, okay, that's the reality. In my choices, I always gonna try to take the good one, you know. So I think that helped a lot in a relationship,
No kidding.
and definitely good communication. Like I always say him like, okay, let's go take a moment and we're gonna talk about this, I don't know, in 30 minutes. And then I say, do you mean this or maybe do you mean this? Because I was asking Mr. Google and that word means this. And he's like, no, I was trying to say this. Ah, okay. So let's go talk about it. So yeah, it's communication and trust. Trust that you can ask your couple whatever you feel and know that he's going to be mature and he's going to be, I don't know, like humble to say, hey, I'm sorry, that was my mistake, or no, you're right, like, you know. So I think that that's something that I'm proud of us to as a couple too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that a skill that you practiced and continue to practice? Or I guess what I'm really curious about is, when did you decide to start assuming positive intentions and assuming the best of everyone?
For me, so I have a really different, I don't know, background. I was orphaned when I was 5. I grew in a really poor town in Colombia, like really, really poor Afro community. So so it's really small. We build houses with how you explain, like sticks, and we use paper to cover our walls so that way people can see. Like I born in a place like that, so I always learn to appreciate whatever I have, and I always was trying to find the good things. So that's in my case that come from trauma. Like I had so many bad things happening to me. I need to focus on something good. And so I lost my dad when I was 5 for the the war in Colombia, you know. And then I started to move from house to house for like a couple of years with my grandma, a couple of years with my aunts, and always feeling I don't belong. I need to be good. I need to take care of everyone. I need to always focus on how to create a good environment by myself, because when I open my eyes, I can see like, okay, this is not normal. I don't have a family. I don't have a house. I never have a bed for myself. That skills was just a response to trauma. When I grow, I was like, okay, this happened to me. What good parts I want to take with me for the rest of my life? One of those.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I mean, I've been a counselor for 20 something years. And I've worked with a lot of, kids who have experienced trauma when I was a school counselor. And it's so interesting the ways in which we have different responses to trauma, right? And oftentimes because they're childhood trauma at 5, you don't know if your response is going to be one that's going to serve you the rest of your life, like yours has, right? So sometimes people choose to escape, right? Which leads to drug addiction or whatever as they get older, that escapism. So it's like people choose different responses, and then some of them serve them later in life, and sometimes they don't. And so I love your story about, little 5-year-old you. I'm just picturing you. You didn't necessarily know that was going to serve you the rest of your life. And I imagine that that's one of the things that has led you to be here today and successful and happily married, is because you chose to seek the good. And then it sounds like at some point you went, well, this is something I do want to keep. This isn't a trauma response that maybe I need to work through and get out of, but like, no, this is actually a good one that is serving me and that I can keep and hold on to.
I have been working with therapists for like since I was 20 or something, because I was like, okay, so I don't know if I can have a family because I never been part of one. So how do I gonna need a husband? I don't need a husband. I do all my things for myself. I don't know how it's to be loved for a man, because my dad died when I was so young, and I don't have any brothers or like, close family around. So I'm like, I don't feel that I can have a family because I don't know how to love another person. So I started to go to therapy and heal, because you have to heal. Because I thought, if I'm gonna try to find a couple, if I'm gonna try to create my own family, I need to heal first, because oh my God, sometimes from my trauma, like David's family, they bring a lot of presents, and my trauma makes me feel like, oh my God, I have some cousins that they don't have nothing there. What I'm doing, I need to stop going to restaurants and send all this money to people that is living in my town. So so you're gonna have goods and bad things. You just need to focus on what can help you and what is the best part that you can take with you, and the rest, heal it, and just remember that that was your past. This is not your reality anymore. So that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah. I love to, one of the things we say often is that a lot of our wounds, right, came from early experience in life that were usually relational, right? In your case, you lost your father, right? And then you were moving around and, could be impacted by how different people treated you in their different homes and that kind of thing, right? And, for someone else, it could be their parents getting divorced or one of their parents being an alcoholic or whatever it might be, bullied at school. So our wounds tend to come from other people, other humans, right? And then we get to an age where we're all of a sudden in these like romantic relationships, and those then have a way of triggering those wounds, right? Because okay, those were relational, now I'm in relationship, those are coming back up. And one of the things I love, and I'm curious, if this has been true for you, is that I do think when you have a supportive partner, it's annoying that those triggers come up for sure, but it also gives us a chance to continue healing those wounds.
Like 100%. Like as you say, it's 100% true. Like for me, I'm the older of two other sisters. When my dad died, was just woman. My mom, my two sisters, and myself, the older ones. I was 5, and I remember my mom telling me like, "So you need to take care of your sister because I need to go to the city to find a job. So you are the older one, so that's stay here." So I'm always trying to take care of everyone around me. Then I joined to the Air Force, take care of people. When I'm around Davy, I feel like that was the first time that I could just say, "Hey, can you take care of me for today?" Or, "Hey, I'm really sick. I don't want to make big breakfast." He got me. And find that it's scary, because I remember the first time I told him like, "It's too much. No, I can do it for myself. I don't need you to, like put in these huge walls." And when I take a moment to think, oh, this is how people love you. This is how they show you that they got you, that they support you. I changed for completely. Like I was like, oh, I get it now. So I gonna start to be more like welcoming to that way to love, because I never experienced that. And yeah, it's like that. It's like when you find someone that can show you that it's possible, you grow and you start rest. I think that's the word, rest, because it's so
Mm,
tired to try to care. Everyone
yeah,
tired. So
yeah,
it's really beautiful to have a partner who can show you and like that you can trust and that he really got.
yeah. Beautiful.
So I love the heart of what you're sharing, and everybody comes into a relationship with wounds and trauma. We all have our own, and Ida, it seems, and like you have experienced more than the normal fair share of
Yeah.
childhood and human trauma. David, what do you do to help her actually receive the love that you're giving her so it fully gets let in?
I try to push it on her regardless of how it's best for her to receive. No, I'm teasing. That's a great question. I genuinely, I try to keep getting to know her better so that I can be more effective in whatever I'm doing. 'Cause I've got my ways of showing affection, of showing care, of showing love for sure. And the ones that come more naturally to me. And sometimes those are perfect for that moment and sometimes they're not. So I think even when it's not in a stressful moment or one of those times when I'm the one taking care of somebody, I try to get to know her better, um, study her and what works and what doesn't, and what's best for her and what's not. So that when those moments come back, when the stress, when the need, fill in the blank, I've got better tools and I can pick and choose and not just go to my default of look, I made you soup and I brought you bread. What else? What else could you want? um, so yeah, I think long and short is being a student of her and getting to know her better.
Yeah.
I mean, 5
Oh,
years
that's
isn't all that long either. So there's a lot to learn.
yeah.
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 Have you done much work on not taking her response personally?
That's a hard one for me in general. That's a weak spot of mine. I have been aware of it. I need to get better at it a lot. I tend to shut down and get defensive a little bit. But I'm aware of it and working on it. And hopefully, yes, that 365 days, and I'm a little bit better at it than I was today. Yeah, I've done some work on it, and
Proud because
I'll
I say to him a lot. So I always say to him like, just let's go focus on the problem. Okay, it's not Davy and I did. No, it's the problem is here. So let's go both focus on the problem, and so we can solve it together. Because it's not like they're doing
the
this
thing.
to you or David doing this to me. This happened to us. Zoom up and see how can we fix it together. And that's the beautiful, about a married. Like you can use your skills in one specific area, and he can use his skills in one specific area, and we can try to do the best that we can with what we have.
I love that. We always think the best that we have is all. There's this book, The Four Agreements, and one of the four agreements is always do your best. It doesn't say be perfect, and our best is going to change if we're hungry, if we're tired, if the kid's been crying all day or sick or we didn't, right? And then we toss on top of that, y'all are parallelpreneurs. You each have your own business. And on top of that, right, everything we've talked about, on top of that, you have your daughter. On top of that, right? So how do you two intentionally stay connected when things get busy or overwhelming?
I think there's the small little things in the middle of the day or when we come back from a day at the office. I think for me, things that work really well genuinely are just physical touch. Just small little, maybe we're eating dinner together and she puts her foot on my foot or whatever it might be. Or yesterday you were exhausted. The three of us were playing in the living room and she sat down with a pillow on my lap and tried to take a nap, unsuccessfully tried to take a nap because the 2-year-old left with us. But just little physical touch points throughout the course of the day are huge. I think we try, lately it's been tough, but we try to make time just for the two of us more often. And hey, we're going to get a babysitter and go have brunch together. Or we're going to get a babysitter and go to the movies together, whatever it might be.
Even walks.
Yeah, going on walks.
We find that we really enjoy that. Like, walk and talk, really. We put the baby in the stroller. We take it all grumpy beagle. We have a beagle. And we just go for a walk for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever. And we talk about, I don't know, work or like, when we are going to be rich, we're going to do this or we're going to, like all these crazy things. But we just talk and how you feel about it, how I feel about it. Like being out of the house. I think being out of the house helped a lot.
Especially because you work from home. So having a change of pace is vital.
And the baby, when they are in this small house, they feel like all the houses belong to them, every corner, so they try to like be for every place. But when you're out of the house, you can't. For me, I feel like I can control more. Like, okay, baby, this is gonna happen. We're gonna do this, and we can focus more and like talk. Because at home, even if we want to go to, the living room, or we're going to go to the table to talk, she's going to be crying or jumping and trying to kill herself in every corner. So when we're out of the house, we can really have that small space just for two of us, even if she's there. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, I remember when our kids were little and I would go to the bathroom and like shut the door thinking I could have a moment to peace, and I'd see like little fingers under the door. I'm like, go find your dad if you need something.
They're like, Mom, I need a glass of water. She's like, your dad is out
in
there.
The kitchen.
Like,
I want it from your hands though. Yep. Super relatable.
Awesome. And there is something therapeutic about walking and talking, right? They say that actually that movement can help with just how our brain's working and firing and processing. So I love that you all kind of figured that out on your own, that to walk and talk can really, really help. So beautiful.
Which is great maintenance, right? We're looking at the relationship maintenance because once we get to a really good place, it's easy to stay there, right? And then whatever happens, and whether it's personal or relational, same team issue,
Or life throws something at
throws
you.
a curveball. We can kind of fall off of that. When do you notice the check engine lights coming on for you two?
What are your clues that maybe your relationship needs a little more attention?
Like for me, I say when I feel grumpy with you,
Mm-hmm.
like I try to like, okay, I'm not gonna show, but it's I can't hide nothing. So
Oh my gosh.
so when I'm angry for whatever, or when I feel stressed for, I always start to show it. So that's my way. Then we need to talk. Something is bothering me. So I'm like, what is bothering me? And I think a little bit about it, and then I'm like, can we talk about this? Because I know if I have this feeling, and that's coming from trauma. I always hide my feelings because I was always living in different houses, different from families. And I always was thinking like, I need to be good here because if not, they can just send me back to the other house. But if not, they can just say, okay, that was too much. You go back to your whatever. So that took me a long time to know that I can express myself, that it's okay if I feel uncomfortable about this, or that I can say it. So when I feel like he says something, I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I'm like, oh, something is bothering me. But I need to take a minute to think about what is bothering me. What is that thing? And when I find that thing, I always go to him. I always go. I love that. I always can go and say, David, I feel this. And sometimes he's like, no, that's not that way. He go mad. And I'm like, okay, go and think about it. And then he come back and like, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's go talk about that. Like, because that's his issue. Sometimes he feel like I'm always like, I don't know, like blaming you or something. And my issue is like, sometimes I don't know how to express myself. So thank the universe, thank God, we find to like a way to, okay, you go to be, I go to be.
You go to your corner, I'll go to mine. We'll
But we're gonna talk about this later. So we give space to each other.
Well, a good time to reset. Now, when you have these conversations, what language are you speaking?
Oh, so we start sometimes with English, and if I'm looking for a specific word and I don't know how to say, I'm like, okay, and I switched to Spanish, and he started to explain to me how he feels. He's like, he's talking to me in Spanish. I'm like, no, speak English because I don't get it what you're saying. So he switched. So sometimes I'm explaining myself in Spanish and he's explaining himself in English.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm trying to say in English maybe is not what I really want to say. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Yeah.
But when
English
it's
is our favorite
serious
language.
content, it comes back down to each of our mother tongues. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I appreciate what you're saying a minute ago about how you kind of go to your own corners and then you come back together. And I think that was a skill I had to learn. And I see a lot of couples struggle with, where one tends to, like, which was me in our relationship, wants to talk about it because I want to get it over with. I want to get through the conflict as soon as possible. So I want to talk about it right now and be done with it. And then,
except when she wants to talk about it, she's going to get what we call my first draft, which is my unprocessed emotion about how
not
I'm
the
feeling.
best draft.
Yep.
And we can then end up having more of a conversation about what I said as opposed to what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So we learned pretty early on that it was going to go a lot better for us if James had time to go, take what I had said or what was going on and process it and come back to me with maybe his second, third, or even fourth draft, depending on how heated it was.
However many it takes to get past the defensiveness. Because if she feels strongly enough about bringing something to me that's important to her, I want to be able to hear that, and my defensiveness just would shut it down and shut her down.
Or make me want to explain myself like that much more fiercely. Like, but no, but listen.
And then we end up fighting to be.
Yeah. Here's my 10 points on why I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell
It's
which one
very
has
similar.
Yeah.
that sounds pretty
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That sounds
yeah,
relatable on so many levels.
yeah, and I can imagine how many couples feel, the same way, because that's the truth. Like, you marry to someone completely different than you, with a different family, different background, different beliefs. So you need to, I really believe, when you go to marry someone, you need to be sure, like, who you are and who you want to share your life, or at least have an idea. Because I feel like sometimes people go and just, oh yeah, I love you, but why? I really like you when you are mad. I really like you when you are lost. I really like you, like. So I feel like for me, we married when I was like 30, 31, something.
31.
For me, that was a game change. To wait, to heal, to better about myself, how I feel, what I want from a couple. And then to meet him, I was like, oh, this is what I want. And I know that that is what I want, because I write it, because I was working on myself all these years. So now I'm ready to share my life with someone else. But yes, I don't know. I just love to, I wait into my 30 somethings to go into heal. More than the age is heal myself first and know myself better.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I would love to hear, I just really want to talk about your relationship the whole time, but I also would like to hear what you are doing professionally, how, how you've kind of taken this life you've had and then turned it into something you love to do for work. So yeah, tell us about your businesses.
Okay, so why right now as a wellness and concierge? And I work more like a woman of color, because I feel like I can relate.
Mhm.
Like, I can relate how they feel about, a specific subject. And I think that this is the first time in my life that I choose something just because I want to do that, and no because, oh, money has been always the issue in my family, because when my dad died, we went to house to house because we didn't have any money. So I need to bring money. And I started to work when I was like 15 or something, doing dishes and cleaning to bring money to my mom. So that's the reason that I joined to the Air Force. I was looking for a really good life insurance for myself. I was looking for a really specific amount of payment every month to bring home, and
Support.
to support. Like, always, that was my goal. I need, okay, if I have money to give to my loved ones, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be fine. So then I create like a logistic company, and that helped us a lot when we were living in Colombia. But I was working like, I don't know,
25
16
hours
hours
a
a
day.
day. I was working a lot, because I was like, oh, if I work another hour, I can make more money, because that's one of the issues that an entrepreneur have. And it's like, you can grow how fast you want, but doesn't mean that you have to work every single day, every single hour, So I was like, okay, this work just need my time, so I'm gonna give all my time to the work. And I left my partner aside. I remember David telling me like, but who tell you we need more money? And I was like, yeah, because we never know, I can be sick or you can die. Always just a response for trauma. That was, and then I start to make that kind of money. And I was like, okay, I have the money, but like, I don't have time to spend with my husband. I don't have time to go to take, I don't know, a weekend vacation. And I don't even can enjoy the money that I'm making. I'm just putting that in a saving account, thinking about if something happened, responsible for trauma. We have covered. One day I say, this is something that I really love, or this is just something that I'm doing because I need the money. And I figured it out, like, what I really love is to connect with people. What I really love is to bring people up, like humans. I really love to uh, see and show people the best part of themselves. I don't know. So it's like, okay, I want to do this, but how am I going to do it? And for who am I going to do this? And I was like, for women like me, for women like feel lost or like lonely or like less even, because as an Afro-Latina woman, it's not like you only see rejection when you move to another country. You see rejection in your own country, because my country it's divided from like the Afro community that is in the coast, all the black people is there, and all the white people is in the mountains. So when you cross that border, is the first time that you hear, you're different. You are too much. You speak too loud. Your hair is too big. So so I was like, we need more women showing to women like me that we belong, that we can make it. Like even when you feel like you never gonna, I don't know, you never gonna like have the life that you want or that you deserve. That's not true. When you see another woman making it, you feel like, okay, I can do that too. So that's my goal in life. I don't know.
I just saw Angela fall even more in love with you, Ide. She's like, oh, she
Speaking
wants.
my
She's
language.
like, we could
Love
let's
this.
talk about that for the next hour.
I don't
What
know.
really stood out though is, David, you help people to secure their own financial futures while supporting what's important to them. Was that always what you wanted to do, or was that born through seeing your own family's struggles?
No, good question. It wasn't. I spent the first 14 years of my career as a teacher. Um, so in those years, there was probably 3 or 4 times in those years when I came home and this is it. I'm done. I am not going back into that school. But I never knew what I wanted to move into next. And then I finally figured out, okay, if I'm going to leave this, I want to use something that has an educational aspect to it, and B, helps other people. Because there's a lot of ways that I could teach how to do XYZ thing, but at the end of the day, it might not really matter all that much. So my second career came from my own experience of never feeling confident in my financial future and wanting to help people feel better about theirs and actually be in a better place than they were prior. And then the sustainable and equitable investing in it was that has kind of always been a part of my life, mostly as a consumer. It's a thing that's important to me. For example, the thing I always tell clients is that for me, my shtick is the textile industry. There's a handful of brands that I will not buy from because I don't like how they treat their people. I don't like how they push consumerism on the entire world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not most people's thing. So I knew going into this profession, well, whatever's important to my clients, I want them to be able to support that with the money that they're saving, investing, et cetera, in whatever form that is. So it was kind of a marriage of my previous profession, my desire to help people in a material way, in a way that actually makes a difference, and this drive to benefit the world more than just our paycheck.
Yeah, I love that. Former career. I worked for a nonprofit, and we worked specifically with young people in philanthropy. And a big part of that was that a lot of, at that time, young people who are all now my age in their 40s, but really wanting to use their money in line with their values, right? So there's certain companies I don't want to invest in, certain industries I don't want to invest in. If they're, destroying the environment, I don't want my money invested in those places. And it sounds like you've really, from your own personal values, really incorporated that into your business to help others be able to do that as well.
Yeah. And most people who walk through our door are interested in it. They probably have thought about it, but they don't have anybody to talk to about it. Or the people who they are talking to aren't willing to ask the uncomfortable questions. So 4 times out of 5, somebody who's investing for whatever purpose, just knows that they're putting X number of dollars aside per month and it's going into something, but they don't pull open the curtain or look under the hood, whatever metaphor you want to use, and figure out, well, what is our money actually doing in the world? Those are the kind of uncomfortable bits that I love, honestly.
Yeah. So working with people to become their best selves, women of color, working with people and their money to just invest in their values and experience life. Both of those have a really great ROI. And our last question here for you is, what do you do in your marriage that creates the best ROI?
I think anytime we spend time together, it's a good return. It's good, particularly like you said, particularly when we get outside. It's funny because when we first met each other, we were in Seattle, getting to know each other, asking all the silly questions one asks. And I remember you said at one point, kind of what I really want in life is to go camping in the mountains, wake up next to a river, and have a cold beer. And in my mind, I went, I know, I got a place for it.
I know a place.
So I feel like anything in that vein is good for us when we're
Yeah.
by water, when we're in the mountains.
Like really, like nature. I feel like that, like you can find so much there, you know. Peace, yeah, definitely, like inspiration, creativity. And for me, I feel like that really, really helped me. So I always say, like when we moved here just a year ago, I told him like, I need to go out, baby. I need to go out. I can't spend so much time at home. But he said to me, please forgive me. You're right. You has been working and just stay at home all this time. And this is not that I promise you. You need to go out and see the mountains. So we were like, I don't know, for walks, and we started to like hiking. And you can tell how that changed our dynamic because I was like so just there, you know,
Working
and
from home and sleeping at
yeah,
home.
and we start to going out and laughing more and being more like again like just girlfriend and boyfriend. I feel like when we take a moment to say, hey, I remember when I meet you, I feel this and this and this, and not just like tired all the time because the baby or because our job is just like that easiness
Yeah.
is that you have you're just boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, it's not too much pressure. Remember that moment when we are too stressed. Just remember how we met. It was just easy and fun. Yeah, I think that's our best
Yeah.
ROI.
Yeah.
I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah, nature tends to have a great ROI, and in terms of love languages, right? I hear a lot of quality time for you too,
Mhm.
right? And
Yes.
you seem like you really enjoy each other. Would you say you're each other's best friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I'm her best friend. Just teasing.
No, but really, yeah, we are.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, things about me like nobody knows, and I trust him. That's yeah. That for me, that has been something to trust him, and more as a man, because I don't have any other man in my life, like maybe an uncle, but like to trust him, and I can be fragile in front of him. For me, that's that could be silly for another word. For me, like that's a big deal because I'm like, I got this. I always can fix it. I always can figure it out with myself. But you can show myself just how I feel really in front of him. Yeah, you're my best friend.
In your mind. And trust is actually the perfect word too, because there are so many times. I mean, this woman has an intuition I don't understand it. I'm sure psychics don't understand it. It's beyond. But there are so many times when I just flat out disagree. Like, I think you're wrong, but let's go with what you think because I trust him. Because time and time again, she's shown herself to be trustworthy, and 9 times out of 10, when I disagree and decide let's follow your lead, yep, she was right. That's not. It feels like a safety net, really, is what it is. Going, hey, I disagree, and it doesn't really matter if I disagree or not. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I'm still going to trust you, and we're going to do this. And even if it doesn't work out the way you thought, like we're going to figure out what was going to come next together. Brilliant. Well, you have such a special love and an amazing story. We've got 4 closing trivia questions that
They're
we
just
like
kind
to
of
ask.
quick answers.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one is, what do you call each other? What's your little pet name?
Amor.
Amor. Yeah, amor.
Hmm.
Love.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Both
I've
of
never
you?
used pet names in my life. But came out with her and our daughter.
Yeah, and say amor. Like we always say in Spanish. Has to be in Spanish.
Yeah.
Like love
Yeah,
though. Amor. Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Number 2, who is the bigger baby when sick?
Yeah.
David.
I'm trying to think of any world in which
Yeah,
I am not.
David.
That doesn't exist.
We're on the same
All
page.
right.
Yeah.
Who's the first to apologize after a fight?
That's tough. I think I'm going to say 51-49. I am.
Yeah.
We're pretty equal there.
Yeah. But you're you're really good in that.
Maybe that's just more often I'm wrong.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, man.
That's great.
And then the last one, who makes the bed in the morning?
Yeah. I did.
And how many pillows are on it?
Too
James
many.
loves- okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, James
many.
loves decorative pillows, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Really?
No, we
Because
use it for the baby, like a fork. Like we put
Oh,
all
she
the
loves playing
corner
in them.
so that way she's not gonna fall. So that's why we have.
Well, in your military background, there is a correct way to make the bed. There's a
Yeah.
correct way to
Yeah.
fold the laundry.
Yeah.
There's a correct way.
Yeah, I had to like do it the perfect way, and I said, "You did it wrong." He's like, "But I see it.
It's there. It's
It's
fine.
there." And I'm like, "No, you have to use your 2 hands."
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was not in the military, and I agree with you. There is a correct way. There's also a correct way to load the dishwasher. Okay.
Yeah.
So just so we're clear.
Yeah.
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 We talked about it like a week ago. I was like, "Why you put all the plates like this?"
Right. They don't
So
fit
yeah,
as well
yeah.
that way. Yeah. Well, you two, it has been absolutely lovely to have you. Thank you so much for joining us, for sharing all your wisdom and vulnerabilities and everything with our audience.
And the nuance to having an intentional marriage that can grow with you and grow alongside you. So thank you for sharing your story. If this story has resonated with you in any capacity, with any loved ones in your life, please share it with them. If you've seen yourself in this story, come back out and check out our next episodes as they're coming around. If you haven't left a review yet, please do that. And remember to share the love, y'all. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, guys.